it and be able to incorporate this platform into their protocols. So yes, we began with Nakuru, but as you know, a digital platform, you can you can text from anywhere. So we have linked 47 county commissioners, the regional commissioners, and it is just because of funding. We'll discuss that when we come to scaling in-house, but we can connect up to, we would want to even connect up to maybe 120,000 officers. It's because when you're talking about, when you're talking about security concern, it is also service delivery. So that is how we have come. Now, yeah, so the uniqueness is that the unprecedented acceptance. We have received over 500,000 issues. And when we say again, ukiona sema, ukisikia sema, ukishuku sema, I think we should expect about 1 million issues a day, seeing as there are more than 35 government functions, and also even the ones that are relating to Pombe and service delivery. So the public also are with us because, again, now there is the problem is not usually the information that we get from the public. The challenge here has been the responders, because Kenyans are innovative. There are very many systems out there. Kenyans do speak. It is where that information is going that is tricky. So when we have the responders taking charge of the information and saying we want to receive, and oh boy, don't they receive. They receive so much, even wrote in their own departments. They receive a lot of reports with officer misbehavior, and they have been able to sort it out. Because we all know that, again, as the public, we allege misbehavior. So these are the people that have taken charge. I want to also recognize, as I recognize the county commissioners, I want to recognize Bwana Nganatha, that is the county commissioner, I think he's now in Kiambu. He's the one who brought this and risked it 7 years ago and says, let's try it. So I want to appreciate that officer. And so with the other officers that joined in, it was not by force. They have joined in, and then later it was when later that Harambee House came in. So that is what I have. I'm going very quickly. We were given about 10 minutes to go. So where are we at with this platform? So we are willing, we want to expand it. We have done everything. So now it's only expansion. And that expansion will mean that we want to connect, we want to be able to handle 35 million Kenyans. That means that at your disposal, the government has over 35 million pairs of eyes as CCTV cameras that you are not installing, you are not paying for. They are on 24 hours and they are everywhere, because the public is your biggest ally when it comes to this, to the fight of this menace. And we also want to target 120 officers. I know these numbers are sounding a lot, but technology, again, everybody can be able to everybody can be able to do the SMS at the same time, and the system will receive. And then also we want to target about 200,000 reports. So that's what we have for you. I thank you for listening. Now, sorry? Okay. So, yeah, so the biggest challenge, just one of the biggest challenge we have is that the public do not yet know of this platform. So we would want to expand it and see that the officers are sensitized adequately, and also the public. I thank you very much. And oh, by the way, sorry, I forgot to mention that I am very proud because I am from Nyeri, and this product is actually also going to now be from Nyeri. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let us give her another round of applause. In fact, as I was sitting there, I've received 92 messages on various issues pertaining to Central Region. And normally what we do, I receive and channel them to the respective county commissioners for action. And this has been very effective. Our next presentation is going to be from the Ministry of Education, and I want to request that you take 5 minutes. Karibu, Madam Sabina. She is the Regional Director, Basic Education.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellencies, the Governors, the Honorable Members of the Senate and the County Assemblies, all distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good morning. As you've heard, I'm Sabina Aroni, the Regional Director of Education. Together with the Regional Teacher Service Commission Director of the region, we put together something that we want to share with you. The Regional Director of the Teacher Service Commission is there. So the information I'm presenting, we shared and said we want to share it with you in this forum. First of all, allow me to appreciate the Deputy President for giving us an opportunity even to share information that is very key and that will go a long way to improve the service delivery in the education sector. So we are saying that this is what you know, that this is a ministry in the government, but we have a vision that is the quality and the inclusive education, training and research for sustainable development. We have a mission to provide, promote, coordinate competency-based, equitable, learner-centered education, training and research for sustainable development. So I want to say that education, as all of us know, is key in the development of any society. But we are saying there would be issues like the drug use and abuse that may hinder the full realization of desired outcomes for all learners, because we said the government wants to provide education for all learners, may they be from poor backgrounds or rich backgrounds or whichever background they come from. So in specific, we are talking about the drug and substance abuse, and maybe we want to ask ourselves, do we have this problem in our institutions? I want to say yes, especially when our learners transit to the secondary. Some of them go to schools with the drugs. Some of them are used by the parents and the other stakeholders to sell drugs. Some of them are also kind of affected. Sometimes we have learners in examination rooms, but because they have abused drugs, they are not able to write their examinations. Earlier, stated that education in Kenya is hierarchical. That is, whatever happens in the nursery school or the ECD will affect the outcomes up to university level. For that reason, we as education sector believe that education even starts before a child is born, from the what we call growth and development. Growth and development starts in the womb. The quality of the child who's conceived by an alcoholic is different from the quality of a child who's conceived by a non-alcoholic, for example. Therefore, as you see, let me not dwell on it. Let's go to the next slide where we want to dwell on. I want to comment 3 things: that we are affected by drug and substance abuse in 3 ways. That the 3 major stakeholders in education, that is the parents, the teacher, and the learner, are affected. The parent is the financier, is the role model, and at the same time is the person who will enable a child join early, because if it's a youth can go to school without a parent through the support of others, but they may not be able to go early enough because their parent is an alcoholic. When, I'm sorry to mention this, but when we were going around to identify beneficiaries of Elimu scholarships, we went to some dens where a mother is drunk, totally drunk, a child is breastfeeding, a breast that has no milk. The mother is not aware. We have got into a room. We leave the room without, and we leave the child wanting to follow us, and the child we have gone to identify, not even having eaten even for 2-3 days in the house. So we are affected. The teachers are affected, and the learners are also affected. The perpetrators of gender-based violence, be they be parents or teachers, in most cases it corresponds that they abuse drugs and substances, because a father in his normal senses cannot rape a daughter. But sometimes they do because they are under drug and substance abuse. So this is our enrollment. It entails both the public and the private schools. From 2019 to 2023. If we look at the data, we realize that there was a steady and impressive increase in Kiambu. We were maybe stipulating that Kiambu is cosmopolitan, meaning that maybe even people from other parts of Kenya are staying in Kiambu, or some people from Nyeri and other parts have moved to Kiambu. But other counties, especially the Nyeri, Nyandarua, and the Murang'a, recorded some drops at certain points. We also reasoned that in the 2020-2021, we had COVID-19. Maybe some parents withdrew their learners because they are young to stay home, and then they took them back to school for reasons we may not tell. We are only able to account for this information, but we are not able to say in the village what happened in the village to hinder learners from coming to school to enroll. Allow me to use the next slide to explain that Kiambu County registered steady increase, while the 4 counties registered noticeable decline at various points. Note the decline of Nyeri, for example, between 2022 and 2023, which is 5,649. Note the decline of Kirinyaga of 883 between 2019 and 2020. We also note the decline of Nyandarua from 2022 to 2023, which is 3,501. And then we also note for Murang'a, which is 1,718. However, when we look at the primary school enrollment, the decline is marked in Murang'a and Nyeri for the primary school enrollment. It's marked for Murang'a and Nyeri. When we look at this, we were trying to see that are there learners who were in ECD and they didn't transit. We discovered no. It's like the effort and the support that was available to have the learners enroll at ECDE still supported them to do what? To continue with their primary school education. If we move to the recommendations, the Ministry of Education recognized that we have a problem with the drugs in schools. And we are told when we interviewed the secondary school learners, some of them tell us they started in standard 5. So as early as standard 5, they are abusing. So there is a policy that NACADA assisted the Ministry of Education to develop. It's our request, our recommendation that this, the implementation of the recommendations of that guideline be implemented with the county governments, ministries, departments, and agencies in collaboration. That the general public be sensitized on the adverse effects of drug and substance use and abuse on education. We also recommend mentorship programs for learners from homesteads affected by drugs and substance abuse, because the education sector does not want to lose any, even if they are drunkards. We are having a problem these days because we tell principals, we tell head teachers, you can't expel, because you expel them, they go to society. There is nowhere they are going to go, because if they go to society without education, they'll be worse. So there is a policy to handle them, but we request that if programs are in place to mentor them, so that we bring them back to the mainstream of education to complete their education. Then we request that there be established at least one rehabilitation facility in each county to cater for parents, teachers, and learners who are affected. We also recommend that further research be carried out, because we cannot explain these figures at school level. Further research be carried out to establish the cause of the decline. So I want to thank you very much. That is the end of the presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Regional Director Education in Nyeri County. Your Excellency, sir, we have 3 more presentations. With your kind permission, sir, and indulgence, I wish to seek that the presenters do it rather summatively so that we're able to save up on time as we also usher in our next session on the plenary, where we will be sharing our views and also having an opportunity to also air our questions. Kindly, if we may have the next presenter on children's services. Remember, may we kindly proceed to have our presentations summatively. Karibu.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, our CS Interior, Your Excellencies, the governors, all protocols observed. My name is Kongo Mwaniki from the Directorate of Children's Services, and I will give a very, very brief presentation painting the image of the kind of children we see and the kind of ravages that drug and alcohol abuse has had on families, particularly in our region. Of course, those are our rights, and I want to do it summatively. Let's proceed. Next slide, please. Okay, parental responsibilities, of course, and what they are supposed to do. Next slide. Let's move up to where we have specific child protection issues. Let's move on, yes. So because of alcohol and drug abuse, what we've been witnessing is abandonments, particularly of toddlers and infants, and of course even older children in medical facilities and markets. Again, we have cases of abortion for parents who do not get support from their partners, and some who are also abusing the drugs.